Now the new report data source is ready. It has a new field that will be always populated by the fixed value, some fixed text. Let's see what is it that you need to do in order to add this field to the format design. When you start from the out-of-the-box provided SSRS report and want to make your first changes to its design, you cannot do it directly on the original format. You need to make the SSRS report copy, and then you keep working on the copy. For this example, I will print only through print management, where I can select the new design, and there is no need to modify the other artifacts. But depending on the requirements, some related artifacts like menu item, controller class, data contract class need to be extended as well, so that the new design is automatically used instead of the original one, for example, for the preview original copy scenarios. Let's say that all of that has already been done for some previous changes, and now you need to add this new field to your SSRS design. These are the steps for a developer. Open the design in Visual Studio in the SSRS Designer. Let's do that. As you can see, I'm using a modified version of Sales Invoice Report, which you can recognize by the prefix DOTS, which stands for Docentric. Don't get a heart attack by merely looking at the format in the SSRS Designer. Analyze the design and find the place where the new field should be added. There is a catch about this task. A common way how end users communicate with functional consultant and further with developers is to send them a printout like this. The changes are somehow marked. You can see the red arrow pointing to a place where a new field is to be added. But if you remember from what we saw in Visual Studio, this is how the SSRS format looks in the SSRS Designer. Let's focus only on the header section. On the left side is the printout as you would receive it from the users, and the SSRS design is on the right. In the SSRS design, you don't have a clue what is what. Just a bunch of rectangles having the EXPR text in them, short for expression, telling you that there is some expression bound to that field. Developer needs to right-click each of these fields to bring up a new window where the actual expression will be visible. If a field is bound to some label, then developer will only see an ID of that label in the system. So another search for that label in the Visual Studio Label browser is needed to understand what each field means. Let's now focus on the printout on the left side. Here, end user marked that a new field should be added between the texts Our Reference and Payment. Where is it in the SSRS design? On the printout, you can count that the new field should be between the third and fourth row from the bottom. But is it correct? When you compare the printout and the SSRS design, you can notice that the SSRS design has more rows in the header, 16 of them, than the printout, just 12 rows. Why is that? Because some of the elements in the SSRS design are conditionally hidden. For example, on this printout, you see that the payment field is third from the bottom. Let's select the third from the bottom field and check its expression. It is corrected invoice ID, not payment. As it turns out, developer will need to check the expression for each of the fields in order to identify the correct position. Let's try with this blue field. It is invoice account, so one more above it is hopefully payment. Let's confirm this. Yes, we found it. Once the position of the payment-related field is identified, developer needs to make the space for the new field. Luckily, this whole group of the header-related fields is inside one common rectangle, so I will just expand this box a bit, which will automatically move all the content below it to adjust to the new header size. Now when I got some extra space in the header area, I will select all the fields starting with the payment field until the bottom of the header box and move them precisely as much as needed for the new fields to be inserted. Luckily, just one click on the arrow down should move the selected content precisely as much as needed for the new field to be inserted. Now, how do we add the two new fields, one for the label and one for the value? You need to find the correct icons in the toolbar, but the quick and dirty trick is to select two already existing fields in the design and then simply copy and paste them. Then we move them to the exact location where they should appear and modify the expressions to point to the field we previously added to the data source and to the sys12345 label as I previously announced. I will also give them some different colors so that they stand out during testing. Once the changes in the format are made, developer builds the project containing all extensions. Depending on the environment speed, it can take some time. Developers should be patient and wait. Developer then deploys the SSRS format to SSRS server. This step also requires some time. Next, developer reloads the D365FO application. Yes, also some time is lost here. Then developer finds the sales invoice against which they will test the resulting document and executes the report. I said that for this demo I will only print through print management, so let's go there and select the .docs sales invoice format to be used. Also configure the print management to use the screen print destination, as it will be the fastest for testing. If the result is not satisfying, the above steps, except for the first one, need to be repeated over and over again until the developer is happy with the result based on the requirements they got and based on how they understood the requirements.